This is episode 21 of Watching a Movie and Reviewing It, and today we watched the original Friday the 13th from 1980. As you know, this sparked the idea for the horror series, which spawned 9 sequels, plus a crossover, plus a reboot, but almost everybody agrees that this movie is still bad, or okay. I actually like it more than most, I think. I think it's a decent way to start the series. First doesn't always mean best, though, and definitely isn't in my top 5 Friday movies of the series. If you want to know my ranking, comment for me to review more of the sequels. Hook is getting a 3. I'm trying to look at this movie by itself, like I'm in 1980 and I don't know 10,000 sequels are going to be made out of it. And honestly, this movie takes a bit to get going. If this wasn't a really popular movie, I would have really turned it off before Annie's death. And the scene with the first 2 kills isn't done well in my opinion. Pacing is getting a 4. I think this has the worst pacing of the whole series besides part 3, which originally was my favorite. And after watching this original film again, I didn't think the pacing was honestly that bad up until the middle of the movie and the ending, where the movie just keeps dragging, and so the score lowered a few points. There's no need for this movie to be over 90 minutes, or if it was, at least make it be a bit more interesting, because after all, this movie is more of a mystery than a horror film. Visuals and cinematography get another 3. A few good death scenes like Jack and Bill, and believe it or not, I really dig Ned's death. The whole person on the porch, not so much the discovery of him on the top bunk, but that whole lure scene was kind of good. But everything else, including the sound design, cinematography, and stuff like that, I wasn't too impressed with, even though the movie was made on a tight budget. Story gets a 5. It was fine. I like the Mrs. Voorhees twist and that stuff, but this movie wasn't good enough to outperform a simple plot. Acting and casting get a 3. Thank you, Betsy Palmer, at least. Music and soundtrack gets a 7. I really like most of the music throughout the series, and this was a good fit for what they had going on. Moving along, plot development gets a 6. Like I said, super simple plot, and the mystery builds with each kill, and the reveal is pretty cool, but as a whole, plot development rating overall is decent. Conclusions get an 8. I thought the reveal was great and iconic, and the last shot of Jason and Alice in the boat was a really good scare, and the final scene of Alice being crazy as a thought when she was questioned by the doctor was really great. So why not a 9 for a 10? Well, because the killer is never seen at all before the big reveal. We have no clue who they are until they identify themselves. You could have had Betsy Palmer in the background of another scene or some small dialogue or something, so you could at least see she's a character, sort of a Debbie Saltz thing in Scream 2. And because their final fight could have been like 5 to 7 minutes shorter. Enjoyment and rewatchability get a 4. Another category I had a few points higher, and then I thought, when am I ever going to put this on unless I'm binge watching the series or doing a review like this? The pacing turned out to be too much slower than I thought, and as an overall movie, I think it's a decent idea and a solid opening to an iconic horror franchise. Notes I have is the music and craziness of Mrs. Voorhees and her reveal, Ned's death, it's so eerie, and the ending. With this being a middle-of-the-road watch, in conclusion, I'm giving Friday the 13th a 5.8 out of 10. I'll see you guys later.